There's Caitlin Clark in the building taking photos tonight.
Hey, you know what? I saw C.J. Miles.
Caitlin Clark made an appearance at the Lakers vs. Pacers game on Wednesday evening and walked away with something completely unexpected. It wasn't a box score performance or a post-game media session. Instead, she left the arena carrying 4 photos of LeBron James that she personally captured courtside while wearing a media credential. She later shared them online with a caption that quickly got the entire sports world buzzing. If you had the chance to spend a day doing any role in sports besides playing, which one would you choose? Let us know in the comments right now. Take a moment to really recognize what unfolded here, because the finer details elevate this story far beyond what the headline alone can capture. The Indiana Pacers brought Caitlin Clark in to step into the role of team photographer for their Wednesday night matchup against the Los Angeles Lakers at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. She wasn't there as a fan enjoying a luxury suite, and she wasn't a featured guest appearing during halftime. She was there in an official capacity, fully credentialed, positioned along the baseline alongside professional media members. Dressed in a Pacers photographer vest, seated among individuals whose careers revolve around capturing athletes in action, she stepped into their world. And when the moment came, she truly rose to the occasion and delivered.
Fast break, but it's not going to happen.
Calling a foul on LeBron, saying he...
Clark spent the full game stationed courtside with a camera in her hands, capturing player moments, high-flying dunks, bench reactions, and anything else that stood out from her vantage point on the floor. Once the game ended, she took to X and hinted that she had some strong shots on the way, which at the time sounded like typical social media buildup. Then Thursday morning hit, and she dropped 4 images of LeBron James with the caption, "The King shot by me." The internet reacted exactly how you would expect. But before diving into the photos and the buzz they created, it is important to understand how Caitlin Clark even found herself in this position, because that context adds real weight to the story. Clark appeared in only 13 games during the 2025 WNBA season. A groin injury, followed by a bone bruise, essentially derailed her year. She missed the Indiana Fever's Commissioner's Cup championship game. She was also absent during their playoff run that carried them all the way to the semifinals. For most of the season, she was on the sidelines watching her team compete, often holding a camera, because that is seemingly what Caitlin Clark turns to when she cannot be on the court. She finds a way to stay connected and remain ready. So the photography angle is not something new. She was already doing it during her injury stretch last season. The difference this time is that the Pacers made it official, gave her the credential and the vest, placed her on the baseline of an NBA game, and told her to go to work. Then LeBron James entered the arena, and the moment instantly turned iconic.
They're now calling a trip. If he's calling a trip.
Clark has spoken about LeBron before. She grew up watching him and has long viewed him as one of her basketball idols. The way she approaches the game, her vision, her awareness on the court, and her ability to elevate the players around her instead of simply taking over on her own all mirror the style LeBron has displayed throughout his career. So when she captioned those photos, "The King shot by me," it was more than just a clever line. It was a real fangirl moment coming from one of the biggest stars in women's sports today.
She's working. Little side.
And the photos turned out to be genuinely impressive. That is what caught people off guard, especially those expecting blurry or poorly framed shots from someone without a professional background. Clark shared 4 images in total. 3 of them captured quieter moments. LeBron standing, observing from the sideline, locked into that composed, analytical mode he shifts into while reading the game. The 4th image showed him in motion, sprinting down the court at full speed. 2 of the shots were presented in color, while the other 2 were edited in black and white. The black and white versions, in particular, had the kind of quality you would expect from a polished magazine feature. After posting them, Clark added another caption saying, "She kind of cooked," and honestly, it was not an exaggeration. Luka Doncic, who delivered an incredible performance in that game, and put together one of the most eye-catching outings of his season, took notice as well. Speaking to reporters afterward, he mentioned that he is a big fan of Clark and follows her games. He follows her performances regularly and even mentioned that he wants to watch her play live at least once, which says a lot coming from someone who had just dropped over 40 points and barely seemed concerned about the final score. But beyond that compliment, the bigger picture lies in what this entire moment means for Clark and the stage of life she is currently in. The year 2026 has already been extraordinary for her, and the WNBA season has not even tipped off yet. When January began, she was coming off a season that had been heavily disrupted by injuries. The conversation around her had started to shift slightly, not in terms of her talent, because that was never in doubt, but toward concerns about her durability and whether the Fever could truly build around a player whose body had already endured significant setbacks so early in her career. Then March came, and Clark responded to all of those doubts before they could fully take shape. She earned selection to Team USA for the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament in San Juan, Puerto Rico. It marked her first appearance with the senior national team, as she had never represented USA basketball at that level before. What she delivered in that tournament was the kind of showing that fills highlight reels while shutting down criticism at the same time. She led the entire roster in playing time at 21.2 minutes per game despite starting only once. She averaged 11.6 points while shooting an efficient 52.9% from the field. She also topped the entire tournament in assists, putting up 6.4 per game. Across 5 games, she set 14 FIBA records. She finished as Team USA's leader in total points, total assists, and overall efficiency rating, and was ultimately named the tournament MVP. So the version of Caitlin Clark who arrived at Gainbridge Fieldhouse on Wednesday night with a camera is not someone easing her way back quietly. She is coming off a dominant run in Puerto Rico, where she controlled international competition even under minute restrictions, and then immediately showed up at an NBA game to casually photograph LeBron James. That is not the energy of a player slowly returning. It is the presence of someone fully locked in and operating at a high level. That is the kind of energy that reflects someone fully focused and prepared for what lies ahead. The timing makes it even more compelling, especially with the WNBA coming off one of the most impactful labor negotiations in its history. The league and the Players Association agreed on a new collective bargaining deal that brings a substantial increase in salaries across the board. For Clark in particular, projections indicate her 2026 earnings could rise to about 1.5 times her previous contract. There are also reports suggesting that her Fever teammate, Aaliyah Boston, may receive an even larger percentage increase due to the structure of the new deal, which is likely to spark its own wave of discussion once the full figures are released. But shifting back to Wednesday night, the Pacers' angle deserves attention as well. The team Clark was capturing through her lens is currently enduring one of the most difficult seasons in franchise history. Indiana came into Wednesday holding the worst win percentage in the entire NBA. They had just ended a 16-game losing streak by defeating the Orlando Magic 2 days prior. Their top player, Tyrese Halliburton, suffered a ruptured Achilles in Game 7 of last year's NBA Finals and is out for the season. Essentially, the Pacers are limping through the remainder of a painful year, trying to keep the locker room intact while looking ahead to next season. Amid all of that, the organization decided that the highlight of a Wednesday night home game against LeBron James and the Lakers would be putting Caitlin Clark on the baseline with a camera and letting her do her thing. And honestly, it was a smart move. The Pacers lost 137-130, but the moment everyone is still talking about isn't a basket or a strategic play. It's the photos Clark posted the following morning, captioned, "The King shot by me." That's a savvy marketing decision, an example of an organization recognizing that even during a rough season, there's a way to give fans something exciting to enjoy. And it worked perfectly. Clark produced content that reached far beyond Indiana sports circles, sparking conversation across the entire sports world for an entire news cycle. She didn't just focus on LeBron, either. She captured Andrew Nembhard in action, photographed an injured Halliburton sitting on the bench beside T.J. McConnell in a quiet, emotionally resonant moment, and caught an Obi Toppin dunk from floor level that made the whole sequence feel cinematic. After sharing all her shots, Clark reflected on the experience in her Instagram stories, writing that she got to shoot the king. The entire day became a slice of sports culture that had little to do with stats and everything to do with why people genuinely love sports. Caitlin Clark is 24 years old and is about to begin her third season in the WNBA. Clark just earned MVP honors at an international qualifying tournament. She's about to see her highest professional earnings yet under the new CBA. In her free time, she stepped into the role of an NBA team photographer, capturing black and white portraits of LeBron James and confidently telling the internet she kind of cooked. The WNBA season kicks off on May 8th, with the Fever opening on May 9th in Dallas. The player walking into that game carries none of the doubts that shadowed her a year ago. She is healthy, sharp, an emerging photographer, and fully ready. LeBron was photographed. The internet loved it. Clark went home content. Meanwhile, the Pacers received the best press of their season despite losing by 7 points. Caitlin Clark arrived at an NBA game, donned a photographer's vest, snapped 4 photos of LeBron, posted them with 2020 SIX's boldest caption, and somehow turned a Pacers defeat into the week's most talked about sports moment. The WNBA season cannot come soon enough. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss what's next. Off the court, what do you think is Clark's strongest skill? Share it below.